The peace of the Lord be with you. Earlier this week, my wife and I watched a favorite television series, and we remarked on how it was so humorously odd, absurd almost, to see people in crowded streets without masks and no social distancing. Although filmed only last year, it seemed ancient, 2019 BC, before COVID. It's surreal how our lives have radically altered in just a few months. After the show, still lost in that thought, I had an epiphany. Although 2020 has a profoundly negative connotation, 2020 is also perfect vision. I realized that what we might see as negative and at times restrictive and depressing could, in some instances, be God giving us 2020 corrected vision. Before COVID, our American lifestyles had slowly impaired our sight, blurring priorities with hedonistic same-day delivery of all our wants and wishes, like diabetes and cataracts, which gradually take away our ability to see clearly. We unintentionally lost our focus on the truly important things in life. In those early days of self-isolation, neither Amazon, Costco, FedEx, nor UPS could deliver a hug for my adult children. Everyone missed seeing friends, visiting a restaurant, seeing a doctor without fear, and exercise. What about hobbies? No one could even attend church. We all longed to be with those that we love, to appreciate simple traditions and situations, to live in our comfortable routines. Maybe you can relate. Now, with a new awareness of life's fragility, God is allowing us to see and savor all that is truly precious. In doing so, He is restoring our sight. In the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at priorities, specifically God's priorities, His 2020 vision of what's important for a good life. In the book of Jeremiah, God speaks to His people going through a very challenging time. Sharing His heart of love for them, God says, I know the plans that I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I love that passage because God is so clear that He has a plan and a purpose. And we're not drifting along on a sea of ambiguity subject to the winds of change. This year, a difficult and challenging year too for God's people. He is helping us to refocus on His plan and purpose for us. In Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, we're told, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if there is anything excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. To me, as I think about those things, I instantly think about my wife and my children. I think about them a lot and savor each moment with them. I think about my time with the Lord and the ministry here, the people I serve at Wesley, my friends, my colleagues. They are my priorities, and I know at times I have allowed the most important things to get out of focus. 2020 is a good year, as it is correcting our vision to help us see what is truly important in life. We are social beings. We're created that way. Genesis chapters 1 and 3 tells us that we are made in God's image and likeness, and His desire is for us to live in a good relationship with Him. Remember those early days of COVID self-isolation? It's incredible to realize that God desires time with us, His loved ones, just like we desire time with our loved ones. God even makes time with His people a priority. In Genesis chapter 3, God initiates that time by going in the best part of the day to be with the people that he made. He walks with them and he talks with them as together they experience the beautiful garden that God prepared just for that reason for them. In light of God's incredible love for us and making us a priority, Jesus shares what the most important thing to God is. In Matthew 22, Jesus says the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment. The second priority is like the first one, to love your neighbors as you love yourself. All of the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. And not surprisingly, so does the entire New Testament. You know, Jesus does not say anything about wealth. He doesn't say anything about retirement plans, titles, or positions of life. But did you notice? In those two commandments, there are three pure, right, and praiseworthy relational priorities. The first priority is a loving relationship with God. And the second, a compassionate, charitable relationship with others. And our third priority is to love ourselves properly. These cords are intricately woven together, becoming as one. Without all three, the cord becomes weak. In 2020, God is correcting our vision, enabling us to see what really matters for our quality of life. So in the next few weeks, we will be focusing on these three divine priorities: loving God, loving our neighbors, and loving ourselves. Because in seeing life more clearly, the joy of the Lord will be with you.